In today's session, it was 15 minutes of light running, medium intensity running, and I'll explain why that's important in just a sec. Followed that up with 5 minutes of shadow boxing. I then meditated for 20 minutes this time. I didn't just do a 5-minute breathing session like I did in my last session. This was a 20-minute deep meditation outside with nature and all that great stuff surrounding me. And then I moved right on to some golf practice, but nothing crazy. I'm going to the driving range later. I'm going to work on my game later. But what's really important for me right now is that I get into these really positive mental states and that I practice hitting balls while I'm in that mental state. So why do I do the 15 minutes of light running, or what I'll call medium intensity running or jogging? So according to research from David Reichlin out of USC, he's determined that 15 to 20 minutes of medium intensity movement, of consistent medium intensity movement, is what it takes to trigger a persistence high. So persistence high, which is also known as the runner's high, is a neurochemical reaction that happens once you hit that 15 to 20 minute threshold. Now, obviously this is going to vary depending on how much running you do and what kind of shape you're in and all kinds of other genetic issues, I'm sure. But the basic idea is that once you hit that threshold, there's this neurochemical reaction that happens. And according to his research, you actually triple the amount of endocannabinoids that are in your system. So endocannabinoid means endogenous meaning produced by our own bodies, and cannabinoids, well, that's the psychoactive element that creates the high with THC or cannabis. So these are endogenously produced cannabinoids, right? So we're getting high on our own supply. Sorry, that's a bad joke, but you get the idea. So if I don't hit that 15-minute mark, I may not get that high. And if I don't get that high, I don't get to leverage that mental state. Now, what's interesting about his research is it has to be medium intensity. So they've tried low intensity, like going for a walk, doesn't quite cut it. But what's also interesting is if you go high intensity, like sprinting, you don't get the same effect. Not to say you don't get some good stuff from high intensity training, but for this particular type of persistence high, we're looking for 15 to 20 minutes of medium intensity exercise. So a light run with a little bit of difficulty. In my case, I like to use uphills. I like to use diversity by running through the woods. That way I'm always focused on my footwork and it doesn't get too boring. But you can use a treadmill, you could use an elliptical, I'm sure. You could use a lot of different things. But there's something about running in nature that just gets me to a whole other level that I just can't get doing almost anything else. So I hit my 15-minute mark. I then wanted to finish that off with 5 minutes of shadow boxing. Shadow boxing for me that's my thing. I've been doing it for 20 years. I love doing it after a run also because it forces good technique. I'm a little bit tired, my legs are a little bit heavy, I'm feeling a little bit tired. And this is actually gonna translate on the golf course, right? Because there's gonna be moments on the golf course where you're feeling physically tired or mentally tired, emotionally tired. So if you're able to recreate those scenarios in training, they're gonna help you on the golf course. Right, so right after that 15-minute run, by going into some shadow boxing, I'm forcing myself to refocus and to use breathing especially just to recover while I'm moving. So that's something that I can recreate when I get to the golf. And then immediately after that is the 20-minute meditation session. So what I'm doing in my meditation sessions, first of all, I'm trying to leverage all that powerful neurochemistry I created with the run and the shadow boxing. So if I'm able to boost my endocannabinoids, I'm also boosting my endorphins. Well, this is a neurochemical reaction that can be enhanced even more through meditation. And every once in a while, if you combine the right intensity of movement with the right type of breathing and meditation, you can trigger a flow state, which is basically an alternate state of consciousness, an optimal performance state. And that's something that I've been on for so many years, but now I finally get to take all of that information and everything I know about that and apply it to golf. So remember, the combination of 15 to 20 minutes of persistent running or cardiovascular type training can get you into a persistence high. That persistence high will help you triple the endocannabinoids in your system. That's gonna make you feel good. It's gonna help also with your creative thinking. Now think about that for golf, having that level of creativity and being able to tap into that when you're on the golf course could be extremely useful. Match that with some breathing. If you don't want to do 20 minutes of meditation, I get it. It's hard, especially if you've never done it. Start with 5 minutes and see how that goes. And then if you have access to your golf clubs, even if you're just not even hitting anything, just touching your clubs and swinging and building that connection between that powerful performance state in golf, super important, because then you'll be able to bring that into your practice, onto the golf course, and hopefully help you play your best golf.